When the name Dark Sector is mentioned, one of the first things that comes to mind is the name Hayden Tenno, and of course you have Warframe. It will be a lie to say we haven't wondered at some point in time if Dark Sector is canon to Warframe, or at least if it will ever be. A young man was sent on a routine mission to infiltrate an organization. This was a mission of multiple crosses, one which led to him being infected with the technocide virus. Within hours of this infection, his flesh began to form a second layer, hard as steel, impermeable to attacks, and of course, he gained some incredible abilities. He became stronger, faster, but in time, the virus must assume full control of the host. And of course, throughout the entire game, this is what he fought to make sure it doesn't happen. The name of this young man is Hayden Tenno. I have asked myself several questions about this as well, but now I see it clearly. This is a reason why Dark Sector will never become canon to Warframe. In a situation like this, I know we may be quick to throw DE under the bus, but I like to see things from all angles to make sure that I am not being biased. In fact, something as simple as saying yes can take months or years to do when it comes to legal grounds. The first thing that has to be examined is the clause within publishing. While Digital Extremes own copyright to their IP, there are several questions to which clauses are within their publishing contract with D3 and Aspire. And while I doubt that DE would have signed a contract giving away a portion of the IP, one still has to consider the possibilities in being able to use assets from this IP. If the bases are all cleared and the IP solely belongs to DE, then we have to look into the second legal aspect. The legal ownership of Digital Extreme Studio is by 4 parties. The president of the studios and 2 top developers, those are the ones who retain 39% control of the company. But then, of course, in dire need of financial support, they sold a top share to a Chinese company called Lulu. Lulu holds a portion of the company that was sold by previous shareholders of the company. This, as seen, is the beginning of more questions. If Dark Sector as an IP is owned by the studio, this means both parties will have to reach an agreement on reusing these assets. This could lead to some IP battles and questions of if and how much of Dark Sector was ever shared in the sale. Is it just the name, or is it including everything under it? Lulu has a top percentage, which means they will carry a large weight in terms of agreements, though I also believe that the studio has creative freedom. One must still, however, consider the owners of the 61%. Will they allow such assets to bleed into each other? Now, of course, if there is guarantee that there will be more money to be made if they do so, of course, both parties will, in one way or the other, possibly agree. The next and the most important of all is going to be the lore itself. Though Steve Sinclair is credited as the writer of the Dark Sector series, we must also understand the years of artwork that is involved in writing a novel or a story for a game. If canonization was greenlit by all parties, the studio will have to deal with the cost of writing and creating a solid connection between both games. With Warframe as a game suffering from some plot holes itself and lack of lore, adding a Dark Sector connection will lead to a lot of answers. But let's not forget, with more answers also leads more questions, and of course this will create another plot hole in Warframe. This will lead to more questions, as I've said, and these questions will have to be answered in one way or the other. Because of the focus on Warframe, the team would not be able to focus on writing a connection. They may have to hire a writer or co-writer, which will cost the studio some money. DE at this point is a company trying to build upon its established Warframe IP, and diving back into Dark Sector or anything along those lines will be groundbreaking, but could also lead to some of the stated issues. But at the end of the day, if DE wants to, they can make these connections. Now I hope this small piece sheds light on some of the reasons why we haven't seen it in the game. Now, of course, at the end of the day, this is just a theory. I've thought about it, but these are some of the possibilities and the reasons why. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy this. I'll see you in the next one.